Welcome to Penzance.
Penzance agus dinner.
The Cornish for Penzance is
Penzance,
and that means
holy or sacred headland.
Okay, so just explain the pen and the sans. Which bit means which?
Right, in Cornish the adjective generally goes after the noun, so the pen is literally head, and by extension headland. Sans is holy or sacred.
And that links to the Latin sanctus, I imagine.
It does indeed, yeah.
So what's the story behind this name?
Well, the headland, which is where the harbour and the Jubilee Pool are now, had a chapel to St Mary on it, and that was the holy part of it. There was even an earlier chapel than that, one to St Anthony for fishermen.
Now, Penzance has got a link to St John the Baptist, hasn't it? I mean, where does this appear within this story?
Well, it's that the traditional name of the town worked in very well with the religious motif of St John the Baptist's severed head, the Holy Head. Of course, it's got nothing to do with the town name, but the original mother church of Penzance was Madron, which was for a time owned by the Knights Hospitallers of St John. So it was their motif, and it just happened to coincide very nicely with the name of the town.
Penzance.
Penzance.
This production is brought to you by Visit Cornwall. Welcome to Foy.
Foy agus dinner.
The Cornish for Foy is
Foy,
and that means
Beech Trees River.
So what's the story behind this?
Well, when the church was founded at Foy, the church site itself had a name Llangortho, which meant the church site of the clans. But as the town developed, it was decided to name the town after the river. The river name came first. And of course, the river rises on Bodmin Moor and comes out there. And the town of Foy, as people call it now, developed at the mouth of the river as a useful harbour.
Now, when visitors say the name, they often say Fowy.
They do.
And is that correct?
I would say it's traditionally incorrect, but technically correct.
Why?
Because the word fow, meaning beech trees, is fow, not faw. But fowy has become foy in local usage. There's even a milestone that I've seen, an 18th century one with F-O-Y written on it.
Foy.
Fowy.
This production has been brought to you by Visit Cornwall. Welcome to Helligan.
Helligan agus dinner.
The Cornish for Helligan is
Helligan,
and that means
willow tree.
What's the story behind this?
It's an old name that goes back to the 1200s. You do get names of plants used as a place name, and in this case it was named after a particular willow tree.
So why is there a difference in pronunciation between the English and the Cornish?
That really came about after the place became famous, through the Lost Gardens, which were restored in the 90s. Once it became well known, then of course the media got involved, the radio and television. And the English presenters basically pronounced the name as they would do if it was an English word. So they put the stress on the first syllable, and they'll say Helligan. Of course, it's wrong. It should be Helligan. But the problem is that it's spoken that way so much over the media that people sort of assume that Helligan is correct, and it isn't.
And are there still people who use the original pronunciation?
Oh, definitely, me for one. But there are people locally in the area of Helligan and St Ewe who will still say Helligan. And
it's interesting because there's places across the Celtic world with that name.
There are indeed, and there are variations in Cornwall. You get, Porthhellick in the Isles of Scilly, for example, is the Cove of Willows, plural. And then near Trelawarren there's a place called Helliggy, which is place of willows.
Helligan.
Helligan.
This production has been brought to you by Visit Cornwall. Welcome to Land's End.
Penanlays agus dinner.
Cornish for Land's End is
Penanlays,
and that means
end of the land.
And why is it totally different in Cornish from the English?
Well, really, it isn't. The Land's End and Penanlays, end of the land, they are the same. You've even got, if you go across the water to our sister country in Brittany, they have Finisterre, end of the land.
And in Breton, it's Pen ar bed. And in Wales, they've got the word gwlad.
And Penfro, I do believe.
So we found out in the podcast about Penzance, about pen meaning head, when you said pen for Pednan Wlers, there was a different sound to it. Why?
Yeah, this is something that happened in West Cornwall in the last couple of centuries of the language. We had this extra sound built in. It only happened when the syllable was stressed. So you'll get Penzance, but you'll get Pedden and Les.
Okay, so we also find it's a lot stronger in some places, Pedden.
Yeah, it's the way it's spelt on maps. People wondered, how on earth do you spell this sound? And some spelt it P-E-D-N. Other map makers would say, P-E-D-D-E-N. They weren't quite sure, but P-E-D-N works very well.
And if you go to Pedden and Wlers, you find it in big letters across the entrance to the visitor centre there.
Yes, you do. And isn't it nice to see? Because we're starting to get Cornish signs, bilingual signs all over the place. So it's really taking off.
Land's End.
Pedden and Les.
This podcast has been brought to you by Visit Cornwall. Welcome to Lou.
Lo agus dinner.
The Cornish for Lou is
Lo,
and that means
deep water inlet.
So just tell me a bit about this word, because we do find it cropping up across some of the Celtic countries.
Yes, we do. It's loch in Scotland, also in Ireland, although spelt slightly differently.
And what is the meaning of this in Cornish? Because we have got loch, and then in the north we've got a different word.
That's right. We've got two words meaning estuary. For the deep water ones, the drowned valleys, and largely found on the south coast, you get loch. On the north coast, where you've got the estuaries that dry out at low water and leave extensive flats, they're hail.
So we've got Lou, we've got Low Pool near Helston, and we've got Low Beach on the Carrick Roads.
Absolutely, yeah. Low Pool, I mean, low doesn't mean lake. It still means a deep water inlet, and of course Low Pool was before the bar formed.
Let us look at how this relates to the town of Lou.
Well, East Lou is Lough itself. West Lou had another name, that was called Porthbean, Little Cove.
And what about the island?
Yeah, there's been a curious shift on this one. It was the island of St Michael, and then in the late 16th century, suddenly somebody decided to shove St George onto it, so you get St George's Island. But it was the island of St Michael of Lamanna. There was a monastery on there, and Lamanna is Lan Manach, the church site of the monk.
Lou.
Lough.
This production has been brought to you by Visit Cornwall. Welcome to Redruth.
Redruth.
The Cornish for Redruth is
Redruth.
And just tell me about this name, because to many people it means Red Ruth, as in a lady called Ruth who's red.
Well, it has a very English look about it, of course, with red and Ruth. But in fact, it's the Ruth part which is red, and the early part, the red, is Rays of Ford, so it means a red ford.
Okay, and how does that link to the history of the area?
Well, you're right in the middle of the most concentrated mining area in Cornwall, and a product of the mine was tin oxide, and that was forever came to the surface, and it discoloured the waters of the river to a reddish colour. So there's the red part of the Red Ford. And
let's talk a bit about the pronunciation of it, because many people might say Red Ruth.
Ah, Druth. When you hear local people say it, the first part, the RE, almost disappears. I like, Druth. So it shows that it's Redruth. It's traditional speech. When you got that unstressed first syllable, it does, in the sounds of the older people, virtually disappear. So you'll hear Redruth, you'll hear Penzance. The first syllable is scarcely heard.
Redruth.
Redruth.
This podcast has been brought to you by Visit Cornwall. Welcome to Tintagel.
Tintagel agus dinner.
The Cornish for Tintagel is
Tintagel.
And that means?
That's a very good question. Is it Cornish or is it not? If it's Cornish, it would mean the fort of the noose, from the shape of the headland, of course, with the very narrow neck.
Or the fort of the constriction, possibly.
Yeah, very much the same sort of idea. There is a possibility, though, that the name is Norman French.
And what sort of evidence do we have?
Well, it doesn't appear until the Norman French time. It's not known before that. And there is a place in the Channel Islands which is now called Tintagel, but it was earlier Tintagel. Castle of the Devil.
There's a bit of dispute there, but there is an older name, isn't there?
Definitely, yeah. There's a thing called the Ravenna Cosmography, which is an itinerary of routes in the Roman period. And there's a route that goes down through North Cornwall, passes a place called Duro Cornoio, the fortress of the Cornish. And this has been pretty well identified as Tintagel, which was a seasonal royal seat of the kings of Dumnonia in those days.
So it really places that castle, or that part of the country, as an important place in Arthurian legends.
Well, not just Arthurian legends. It was Geoffrey of Monmouth that made that up, and Arthur was only supposed to have been conceived there. But it was a seat of the kings of Dumnonia, who are historically known. Nice thing about the name, Duro Cornobio, is this is the first indication we got the name of Cornwall itself. That Corno is our Colonel.
Tintagel.
Tintagel.
This production has been brought to you by Visit Cornwall.